Thank you. Hi. थोड़ा सा nerve wracking है, definitely. किसी को, does everybody still remember this? Yeah, have you guys forgotten? Right? Okay, great. I love starting off with a meme because then I know exactly who I'm speaking to, right? और फिर कितना like मुझे sort of explain करना पड़ेगा. So this is exactly how it happened, right? I get a call and Aruj is just like, आप प्लीज़ आ जाएं. तो मैंने कहा चलो ठीक है, right? So for a moment I felt like this. I was like, yes. But then immediately I was like, vision, like मेरा पता नहीं, right? I genuinely don't know. But then I really thought about it and I was like, अच्छा मतलब अगर किसी है like किस चीज़ का vision तो maybe like, you know, plants and like trees, they might have a vision. But I get to that, like I get to this in a bit. और थोड़ा सा मुश्किल था like this week because I was just suddenly presented with this opportunity and then I was like, I don't know, vision, like how do I interpret this, like क्या करूँ इसके साथ. And then I was like, लेकिन visions तो बहुत ज़्यादा, like too many to count really. So I wanted to start off by introducing myself. So my name is Ahmed Hashmi, or this is me aaj, like so this dot. Before I start whatever it is that I want to share with you guys, I do want to tell you that this is a personal talk. Like this is perhaps the most personal I have been or I'm going to be, particularly with like a large group of strangers. I feel like this is the largest group of strangers that I've spoken to about me. And usually I'm in the host seat, so I'm doing what Aruj is doing. So the pressure is off, like there's no pressure at all. Because I'm just like, हाँ ठीक है मैंने तो कुछ करना नहीं है, कोई और आके कर देगा. But this is like, it's like flipped, right? So like, you guys have come here to listen to me, also a stranger, because I know few people here, but generally I don't think people know me or like who I am. और अभी भी आप सोच रहे होंगे कौन मतलब 30 मार खान आके बैठ के विजनरी, राइट, विजन के बारे में बताएगा. So really want to start off with gratitude. Okay, thank you so much. You guys woke up on a Saturday morning, came all the way over here to listen to a stranger speak. Like I'm genuinely very thankful to all of you यार. तो अगर अपने लिए आप just you know show like a little bit support, you're like हाँ yes मैं उठा हूँ सुबह, थोड़ी सी अपने लिए ज़रा तालियाँ बजाएं, like मज़ा आए. Thank you. Next, so it's about you guys. So this is why like ये मेरा नाम है, right? मैं अपने आप को mostly जो है as Hashmi refer करता हूँ, also in third person. So right now, one of the things that I am is that I am an associate partner at Ideate Innovation. Ideate Innovation is a research and design firm. हम पाकिस्तान में काम करते हैं mostly और काफ़ी cool काम है because I feel like we're one of like the two agencies in the entire country that like you know are known for like human-centered design and like we're one of them. And as associate partner, essentially what that means is that like I help run the company. So not only do I get to do that, I genuinely have a cool job because I get to go all over Pakistan. I get to talk to people. I get to understand कि उनके मसले क्या हैं, and then attempt at solving those problems through design or sometimes like through just understanding really. Like you know, this is also what I've noticed. Like if you really try to like maybe understand somebody's problem, half of it just like goes away. So I get to do that. I get to do that for money. And I think that's just genuinely like a thing that I'm really proud of. I've gotten to a point where this is what I get to do like every day. And one of the questions earlier, right, it was just like, what are you proud of? So this, I'm genuinely like really proud of getting to do what I like doing and what I want doing. But how did I get here? Like, how does a person really like because associate partner also like a weird term, right? Like I don't imagine a child thinking, yes, I'm going to grow up to be an associate partner. So I'm going to take you back a little bit. I take you back to this kid who wanted to be an architect, or really like an architect, because I was a totla bacha, just like one of the most totla ones. Anybody want to take a guess? Like, why did I want to be an architect when I was a child? Yes, the person in the back. 100%. Great. That was a great answer. Yes, because my dad was an architect. May he rest in peace. Lekin, just growing up, I was just like, this is the only profession I know, so hence I must also be an architect. But kya clearly, like, spoiler alert, nahi bana main architect. Or kyun, like, because, I mean, a few reasons, right? One, I started like, early on, I figured out that like, oh, mere se seedhi line nahi lagai ja sakti. Like, can't draw a straight line to save my life. But then I guess like one of the bigger reasons was also just like, जब भी कोई like assignment वगैरह मिलती थी, I'd just be like, Dad, can you please do this for me? Because you're so good at this. And he obviously couldn't say no to me, so he's like, हाँ मैं कर देता हूँ. But then what ended up starting to happening, I just started thinking like, okay, like I'm never going to be as good as he is. तो फिर abandon कर दिया dream in a way, right? Or like the vision I had, कि नहीं, like I can't be as good as my dad, तो मतलब ये तो नहीं कर सकते, right? थोड़ा सा बड़ा हुआ फिर, right? Again, like this, like I'm still proud of this guy, right? Because this guy wanted to be a hairstylist, and why, like, or a hairdresser, because I was really fascinated. I was like, hey, like, and as you can see, clearly has so much more hair back then, right? So I was just fascinated because I was like, okay, so there are people out there that they can just do this with your hair. Like, isn't that super cool? Like, so I want to do that. And so I was like, अच्छा मैं खुद करूँगा, अपने बालों में साथ करूँगा. But generally, this need, like curiosity, कि I just want to learn how to do this. So as I was thinking about this, like, does again anybody want to take a guess? कि like, what were like the general opinions of like people around me when I was thinking, like maybe I want to be a hairstylist? Like, what do you think? Like people said, yes, that person. Exactly, right? Again, you guys are just smartest people I've ever met, right? Because यही था कि नहीं बनोगे तुम, like हम तुम्हें पढ़ा रहे लिखा रहे नहीं बनना है, तो very strong, right? तो फिर नहीं मैं बना बस, because I was like, I don't know, like इसकी में भी इजाज़त नहीं है, like class permission नहीं है, like क्या सीन है, right? So भी like नहीं किया. थोड़ा सा फिर हम आगे गए. Again, this is such a personal dream. Like, yeah, I wanted to be a radio host because I feel like I generally like the sound of my आवाज़, and I guess like a few years ago I was more in love with it. Just hubris भी ज़्यादा थी, so I was like, हाँ नहीं मैं तो like रात को late night 10 p.m. show, that's what I want to do. That's the dream, that's the vision. And okay, like I really want to know, like, do you guys ever have those things that you want to do and you're like, हाँ बस मैं कर रहा हूँ, but then you do everything around that and you don't do the main thing, right? A lot of nods. So that's what I did, right? Because I was like, yes, of course, what does the radio host need? First of all, he needs a photo shoot, right? He needs to look like a radio host with like headphones and with like funky lighting, and it's got the edgiest sort of like my beard cut, right? I was like, bas you straight isko kar do, nukila bana do, aur bas baal uda do, because you got to look the part. And then resume bhi bana liya. I was like, yes. Email address bhi bana liya, radiohashmi@gmail.com, because I was like, yeah, I'm just doing it. Like, I'm now technically a radio host because I've done all the things around it. Like, oops, wo bhi nahi kiya. Why? And this is like very simple, right? Because I didn't do any of the actual things that are required from a radio host, right? I learned none of the mixing tools. I applied nowhere, but I was just like, ban jayenge kisi din, right? But again, like, hey, I'm here now, still an associate partner, not a radio host. Um, and again, I wanted to start off with these things because I feel like if there's one thing that I really want you guys to like take away from this is, hey, I don't think I'm different than you guys. And I don't think you guys are different than I am. Like, जो मेरे अंदर है वही आप लोगों के अंदर भी है, right? And then something started to shift slowly. And that shift is something I feel like I hold very, very meaningful to myself, like very dear to me. And that's what I thought, like, I'd come here and if I'm getting an opportunity to, I'll share what is it that I've learned perhaps like over my life about vision or just about things. So like moving on like a little bit, like I ended up, so again, I wanted to be a graphic artist, really, really like strongly. I was in A-levels, studying all the sciences and failing a lot of them. And I went to a guidance counselor and he was just like, tum kya karna chahte ho? And I was like, yaar, maine graphic designer banna hai. But then he was like, to ban jao. And I was like, nahi, lekin usme paise nahi hai. Like, main kya karu? Main sabse bada hu. Like, I don't know. I did not like sort of pursue that thing. But this is sort of the shift that I'm speaking about. It's like, I feel like somewhere along the way, I was just like, अच्छा, जो भी तुमने बनना है वो तो तुम बन जाओगे. What is it that you want to do, right? Really, like in this moment, like what's perhaps driving you to want to be a graphic artist? Like, क्या scene है? So then the focus I sort of, slightly like shifted from what I want to be to what is it that I actually want to do. And that's the thing, right? That's what you see on the screen is, hey, I really wanted to make art with the people I love. And that's what I ended up doing. Like, I made this studio with my siblings because there's two people I love most in the world. And then it became a bonding activity because each one of us like is skilled or perhaps is like a bit like nuttier in like a different aspect. So we'd all get together and then we'd talk about a particular theme and then everybody would pitch in. And then we would just create these images, like artwork, whatever. Again, like not saying this is the most groundbreaking graphic art you guys have ever seen. But again, that's not the thing that mattered because the thing that mattered to me was I was just making art with people I love. This is pre-AI, by the way. So this is done by like hand, एक वो pixel पकड़ के stretch. No, not AI. And this is काफी पुरानी बात है. So इसी तरह, like, in a similar vein, I had like a photojournalist era. Okay, I was like, yes, I'm a photojournalist, right? It took a really long while for me to sort of like say that about myself, and now like I still don't sort of like say that about myself. But it was like a brief period where I was like, hey, like, no, yes, this is something I'm very, very curious about, or I am this, like I need to acknowledge this. And why? Because again, it was less about being a photojournalist. It was just more about showing others what I'm seeing in the city. And then that's the thing that was driving me. Where I was like, the label isn't important to me. What's important to me is I get to show people, hey, this is the city that I live in. This is the city that I'm seeing. And because I have a platform like Chota Sa, so I am able to sort of do that thing. I'm just, जो भी मैं देख रहा हूँ शहर में, और जो genuinely अगर मेरे से लोग वो नहीं देख रहे, तो I'm just going to take this opportunity to like do that. And then, some very surprising things happen when you start to do that. When you start to really show, like, look what's happening in the city. So one of my favorite photographs that I ever took at a protest, this person, just like, what a vibe, right? This guy, like, that's a vision. And again, the only reason I think I was able to like come across take this photograph is because genuinely I wasn't really concerned, am I a photojournalist or am I not? I was just so happy to sort of come across this moment because I was like, oh my God, I get to show other people what I saw today. And it's going to reverse me. So I was going to write like an art critic, but then I was, you can't really be just a critic if you're not an appreciator. And you have to be an appreciator first. Or uska bhi, like, it was again not really about whether or not am I like an art appreciator or a critic? Have I really published critique pieces, yeah, appreciation wale pieces, or like have I really like published anything? It was just genuinely, why do people put up art? Like, why is the city full of art? Is because here there are other people that want you to see जो उन्होंने बनाया है. And I guess that's the thing that I started to realize, like, I think that's what I really owe. That I want to see in the city what other people are putting in an effort to sort of show me and like show other people. And then this also became a ritual, right? So I used to work really far away from my house. And then every Friday on the commute back, I would stop at galleries. Because I was like, Google Map tha, I like made a gallery map for myself, and I was like, I'm going to hit these. So this became like a ritualistic thing that I ended up doing over like 7 years. So every time I'd make it a point, I was like, okay, where is the art opening? I'm going to go see it, see what people are saying, see, like, sort of form my own view also. Okay, hey, like, what is happening? Because art, again, as most of you guys, I imagine, are from like the creative field. It is an expression of like what a person is going through. So I was just genuinely curious about this. Because मैं तो like going through stuff all the time, but I'm genuinely curious, okay, what are other people like going through as well? So added this sort of dimension to myself as well. And again, I just want to see it's not really, it became less about, okay, am I like an art critic or not? You just get genuinely, I'm curious, hey, what are other people putting out there, and can I go ahead and see that? Isi tarah, but then at one point, so I'm going to switch it up. It's one of my favorite photos. And then as I was putting together this slide deck, I also realized that the photo that I showed you guys of me as a child, like with the architect tha, right? He was also standing next to this rubber plant. And this is a plant that I got when I founded Nurture at Arbisoft. And that was really, really, really like, तो कल रात को मैं बैठा हुआ, right? So I was like, oh, that's a really nice like full circle moment. But this thing, right? So create space for imagination. Like, what does that mean? Or like, what is Nurture? Nurture क्या था? Like, founder of Nurture भी मैं था या तो उसका क्या मतलब है? Less relevant than what is it that I felt like, yeah, I want to do. So this thing that we created, I was just like, hey, I've been working at this organization for a really long while. I know the work we do. I know how we do it. So how about we do something different? Yeah, can we, iski possibility bhi hai ya nahi hai, right? So just generally led by that question. And then the answer that I arrived at, hey, we need to create a space where different things are possible, or like where there is just room for imagination. So that's the thing that I was just like, so it's, if I look back now and like see, hey, am I being proud of being the founder of Nurture? Yes. But I'm a lot more proud of that, hey, I was able to create this space for imagination for people and then impact like one sort of person to start with and then another. And also one of the things that I feel like is really, really important, and I was like, yeah, मैं slides का aesthetic नहीं खराब करना चाहता तो लेकिन मैं बस वैसे ही कह दूँगा. So the other thing really, right, what really led me here was that I had these like dreams of कि हम influence करना है or like impact करना है at scale. Like I don't wanna leave this world without like leaving impact. And then I'm really, really glad. I don't know, like we slow burn answer that just I arrived, but I suddenly one day woke up and I was like, okay, जो 1000 लाख 10 लाख लोगों को तुमने impact करना होगा वो तुम कर लेना, एक को किया है कभी. So then I was like, okay, well, that's a good sort of thing, right? That was really kind. Thank you, Aruj. थैंक यू. उसके अलावा फिर मैंने क्या, राइट, सो this is like a more recent sort of thing. This is F9 Park. Shout out to F9 Park in Islamabad. Really, really nice जगह. ये भी, right, so again हमेशा से आ सके हम growing up with music, but that hesitation कि नहीं, and कोई इंस्ट्रूमेंट आपको बजाना आता है, I'm like नहीं सिर्फ I only play myself, like मुझे नहीं आता. So then I was like, okay यार ठीक है, like पांच जाएंगे like musician, right? And then I was introduced to this absolutely like beautiful thing. And इसमें भी, sorry, like mic में जो बोल रहा हूँ, इसमें भी it became less about me being a musician, which I'm not, it's barely there. It was generally about, hey, can you listen to something? Or can you listen to other people? Or if you want to be heard, so can you do that? So right, so this became my companion, and like what I'm really really also excited for you guys is to also, like, you know, जब मैं अपना ज्ञान खत्म कर लूँगा तो इधर आप आए, like play this instrument. This is something I realized. I feel like this is one of the nicest things with me, like stepping into this or like buying this, is that every person that I've met and who's tried to like play with this, they play it in a different way, because every person has a unique sort of way of approaching the instrument, of holding it, of what they can do with it. And I feel like that's a nice sort of part of my vision. कि I get to hear what other people have to say. पर अब इसको दोनों चीज़ों को hold करना बहुत मुश्किल है. So I'm gonna put this down. Right. So yeah, this is also like another aspect. And then lastly, I think this is something I like go back and forth on. I feel like this is the biggest thing I have a crisis with myself about as well. Am I a designer? Like really though? And yes, right? Why? Because I get to be of service. I feel like that's what the job is of design, really. And I'm really, really glad that I get to be that. I get to be of service. I'm blessed in a way that allows me to be of service. So yeah, right, this is something like, and now we're back to sort of like, in a way, full circle. So this is me sitting with my current teammates in Kashmir, and we're just having a good time, right? We're playing the instrument, talking about work, or not really talking about work, but it was just with work people. And I was like, अच्छा यार, तो हम लोगों के जाके मसले सुनते हैं. Sorry, is there a hand? Like, do you want to ask a question? Okay, cool. कि हम लाइक यू नो पूरे मुल्क में जाते हैं, लोगों के मसले सुनते हैं और फिर उनकी लाइक प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करते हैं और फिर हम लाइक चिल भी करते हैं. तो अगेन जस्ट लाइक such a blessed sort of place that I find myself to be, and then I get to again be of service. So that was it. Like that was मैंने अपने बारे में जो कहना था, like again, you know, I'm just like यार इतना ज़्यादा self-centered, like me, like, but it's fine. Like Aruj invited me, तो उसकी गलती है actually. But there are like a few invitations that I have sort of like I've given to myself over my life, and this one I want to extend to you guys as well. So invitation number one is, and remember the thing I told you कि शुरू में कि like वो trees का vision है, तो वो, that's invitation number one. It's कि hey, like sure you're a person, but also know that you are a forest. And why is that? Like, what does that even mean? If you ever like think about growth, or if you ever like try to imagine कि forests कैसे बड़े होते हैं, so there's no really one direction that a forest sort of grows in. Like a forest doesn't decide that मैंने बस सीधी जो है ना इस line में जाना है. forest is a forest, और उसके लिए सारी ज़मीन available है, so it can grow in any sort of direction that it sort of chooses to, or like doesn't really choose to. So this is something I want to like leave you guys with, right? Like invitation number one is that, hey, know that you're a forest and your growth doesn't need to be unidirectional. So if you guys are thinking कि यार नहीं मैंने ये पढ़ ली है चीज़ और बस मैं ये करूँगा सारी ज़िंदगी, तो hey, like it's okay, like you don't really need to. और अगर वो बिल्कुल opposite direction में भी जा रहा है तो that doesn't mean कि it's not you, like it's still you, just one forest. If you guys think कि यार ये बहुत तुम में abstract हो रही हो, तो we can talk about this like later as well. But invitation number two, and this is also related, is to find your sun and then allow yourself to bend towards it. And what this means is, I wanted to include a photo of these plants that I have in my room, and they're right next to like a window, or like the sunlight comes through it. And every day, like I get up and like I look at them, and there's a bend in how they're growing, right? Like they're bending towards where the sunlight is coming from, because that's the thing that's giving them energy. So that's my invitation to you guys as well, is कि, hey, like what's your sun? Like what gives you energy? What excites you? आपको किस चीज़, like if you want to be a hairstylist, तो हाँ, like that's fine. Or again, like, you know, as I come and sit here, so I'm as much talking to myself as I'm talking to you guys. So हाँ, yeah, right? Like it doesn't matter what that thing is. Find it, like it'll be fine. And the second thing is like just allow yourself to bend towards it. What does that mean? This is a lot of other people have said it much nicely than I can ever could. And that's just like, you know, you must have heard like get out of your own way. Has anybody ever heard that phrase? That's essentially what it means, right? Like if there's something that you're excited about, if there's something that's giving you energy, तो अपने रास्ते में ना खड़े हो, या don't maybe resist it. Just like lightly bend towards it, see what happens. And then the third invitation is that remember the power of one. And one kya, like one could be anything. One could be like the smallest thing ever. Like if you want to be like, you know, if you're like, oh, I want to like meditate for like an hour a day. So start with maybe like 1 minute. Can you? Right? So just take one step, and then the next day maybe meditate for like 2 minutes. Because you know that's just 1 more minute. And then before you know it, like you're gonna be a whole forest. You're gonna be like, yes, like like I've reached at the 60-minute mark. And then finally, right, which is the bonus step, and it's my favorite invitation. And that is to just have a good time, guys. It's just one life. It's okay, like it's chill. So as long as you're having a good time with whatever your vision is, or with whatever you want to do, to sahi hai. That's the best we can ask for. So thank you for your time, for listening to me. Generally, I had a good time. I had a good time talking to you guys. Did not have a great time doing the stretches because I was like, nahi. But yeah, हमने कर लिया. So again, thank you for you guys. Hey, मुझे काफी अच्छा लगा. This is where you can find me on LinkedIn and on Instagram if you guys want.